So I wanted to share a little bit about how sugar basically impacts your immune system and how it can very easily be stored into fat. So there's been a lot of studies, and they have found that sugar depresses your immune system. And this is simple sugars. Even honey is considered a simple sugar because of the glycemic index and how it breaks down to your body. So this can cause 50% drop in the ability of white blood cells to engulf bacteria. That's huge. That's a huge amount of how that affects your immune system. And simple sugars are obviously table sugar. You have glucose, high fructose corn syrup, things like that. I forgot to do at the beginning. This is not to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any disease, sickness, illness. This is all my own research. So yes, just sharing it with you. So then you have complex carbohydrates, which are more like breads. You have that starch. It's the sugar combined with the starch, so it actually breaks down a little more slowly in your system. That was found in the study to not cause immune depression or immune suppression effect. So it's good to eat good wholesome foods, but high sugar foods with high just sugar contents in it are not good for your immune system. And they found it was most noticeable 2 hours post ingestion. So another thing that goes, and I should put it in the title, but stress. Stress is a huge immune suppression as well. Why is this even linked to sugar? Well, you have where a lot of times people get stressed and they'll go for sugar. They'll go for their sweet snack. They've had a hard day. They want to enjoy something. Well, what happens is the reason you probably are, well, one of the many reasons you're probably craving sugar at that point is sugar basically lowers cortisol quickly. But in the same respect, it lowers it quickly, but then after a while, you're going to have your blood sugar spike back up, and it's going to cause systemic inflammation and more stress on your body. But sugar is a quick relief of stress. And then there's other studies of how it affects your brain. So 8 tablespoons of sugar, which is 2.5 cans of soda, is basically an immune suppressant. So the effect starts about 30 minutes after you eat or ingest that. So they found it affects behavior, attention, learning. They even did a study with kids of the adrenaline levels in those kids were 10 times higher than normal after 5 hours after the dose of sugar. That is huge. And that's also, one, it's affecting that white blood cells, being able to engulf any bacteria or viruses coming into your body. But also you're having just the effect on your mental state as well. They found in kids who had ADHD, they actually reacted. Thanks, Pamela. They actually reacted to glucose intolerance tests. So if you have ADHD, you should definitely look at your blood sugar balance. I've seen it help a lot of people in that area. So you can add protein if you've had a lot of sugar or a high sugar diet to help sort of level it out a little bit. But you also need to know that it takes, I think, if I get the number right, it takes 25, molecules of magnesium to 1 molecule of sugar. Why is that important? Well, most Americans are deficient in magnesium. So you already have where you're deficient, you're putting sugar in your body, you're stressed, or whatever's going on, or you're just celebrating. Well, you put that in, it's literally using all the other magnesium that you have. Magnesium basically helps with 300 cellular processes in your body. So if you're deficient in it, that's not a good thing. So you need to find a good bioavailable magnesium supplement. If you find one coupled with oxygen, it's even better. That's magnesium hydroxide. Fabulous stuff. We have one we use that is awesome. And so what does that do? When you make sure you have the right amount of magnesium, the right amount of sugar is helping being taken to waste out your body. It is helping with that immune function as well. So it's really important to know the different facets of what we're putting in our mouths and how it's affecting our overall body, because all the systems are connected. Our bodies are incredibly designed. So your diet, what you want to look at, you can be on a low-fat diet and still be storing fat like crazy. And the reason is if you have high glycemic index foods, which is those simple sugars, again, not your complex sugars that have starches like breads and stuff like that, but I'm talking about things with like high amounts of syrups and high fructose corn syrup and different things like that. If it is mostly made out of sugar, it's going to break right down into sugar to simplify it. So because of that, how it breaks down those simple sugars, it creates a protein that automatically sends your body into storing it for fat. Complex sugars, that does not happen. And so healthier sugars, basically they come with starches, so they digest slowly. You don't have that insulin spike going up and down. Doesn't create later stress. Even though it drops cortisol in the beginning, it spikes it later in the day. That's why you'll feel like a sugar crash and you need a nap, or you feel like you need a whole bunch of vitamins afterwards. Well, it's because it actually is depleting your body of nutrients like magnesium. It's basically suppressing and stopping, not stopping, but inhibiting your body to be able to handle any foreign invaders. When that happens, it's your body's having to work twice as hard. So just knowing simple things that help in hydration. Fluids. Really, water with lemon is an incredible thing for you to just be doing all the time. Or just water. So that's my tips with sugar. Some people will be sugar sensitive. Other people, they can handle a lot of sugar. But the thing is, just knowing what those sugars do to your body and being aware, even if you feel it or not, that's how it's metabolizing, that's how it's breaking down, that's how the magnesium is working and is most likely I think it's 90% of Americans, don't quote me, I could be wrong, but it's a high number that Americans are deficient in magnesium. So just making sure that you're getting the proper supplements and the food that we're choosing, especially now, people are getting a lot of prepackaged foods, things that sit on the shelf for a long time, and I'm seeing a lot of vegetables and different things just sort of left there. So we want to try to lean more towards the more whole food side and not necessarily the packaged foods. Even looking at canned foods and looking at the sugar content, you will be surprised how many soups, vegetables, canned fruits and things add either high fructose corn syrup or add straight sugar to it. And then look at the sugar content and you'll be surprised and you'll be like, oh, maybe I don't want to put that in my body. And just finding, there are lots of great ones out there. Maybe a little more expensive, but totally worth the investment in your health. So if you have any questions, drop it below. I'm going to put the YouTube link as well. Feel free to share, tag with anyone, because knowledge is empowering. All right, bye guys. Thanks for taking time.